Astraeos, the newest and by far most beautiful map ARK'S ever seen. A bit deceived by its looks though, as this map houses two of the most fearsome bosses in this game, as well as the King Titan. Yeah, he's here as well, and my goal for today is to beat all three of these bosses, on alpha difficulty of course. Will I do it? Will I fail? Well, there's actually only one way to find out. And with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I know the map is not complete, that's not complete, but for $15 this looks fantastic, dude. Also, morning routine. After getting some essentials going, I noticed that Astraeos actually comes with a bunch of really cool looking cosmetics, so I wasted absolutely no time and got to equip myself with them. And the only downside is that they disappear when you die. Otherwise, they're actually really cool. After that, I began slowly but surely making my way towards high ground so I could actually get some metal and progress, making sure to kill everything along the way and also be mesmerized by the beauty of this map. Further up ahead, I found the weird blue looking Ardent Davis. Well, this right here is an astral creature and it functions in exactly the same way as an alpha, dropping good loot and being obviously very rare. After getting a few metal tools, I decided that I should definitely drink some water. Unfortunately, it was kinda late for that, and on the way to the ocean, this hyena killed me, and yeah. What? While trying to go back to my loot, I died to some saber tooths. Saber teeth? You get what I mean. Anyways, because of that, I said, you know what, fuck this place, and respawned on the beach in a presumably hard spot. Also, quick clarification, the map is fully explored as I wanted to test it out a little bit beforehand, but trust me, I know absolutely fucking nothing when it comes to spawn locations, artifacts, and so on. After getting some nearby dodos, I realized that I could claim the quote-unquote abandoned babies. Now, you could argue that I'm a monster, but the primate isn't gonna farm itself. After bypassing the early game with Breeze, I began farming a bunch of narco berries for narcotics because I do know that a certain dino exists on this map that makes traversal very easy, so I definitely want to get one of those. Oh, and also I can use any dino I want this time, which is very refreshing after being limited to either no dinos or just one dino for the past, I don't know, year. Drops are also very good by default since I'm playing Ascended, so going out of my way to collect them will definitely be a smart move. And they also have a cool animation when they disappear. Mostly. After that, I turned all the narcotics into tranks and made a crossbow as well as some wooden billboards, as it's about time I tame a iguana. Right after I find one. Trapping them isn't very hard, but does get annoying very quickly, as they pretty much never ever sit still. Either way, it shouldn't take too long to trap one up. Man, this map looks so good, man. I love it. I love it so much. Map maker, good job, man. After getting the resources for the saddle, I ran into a pretty big problem. My first instinct was to try and kill the Spino with the Bronto, which didn't really work as the Bronto ran away like a little bitch and allowed the Spino to fully heal. What do you do in this scenario, you ask? Well, you free up your Meguana so it doesn't die, and then you lead the Spino to another, way stronger Bronto, which you obviously help in neutralizing the threat. I like how he's walking. Bam, we're gone. Okay, not necessarily because you care about him, but because you want those levels, man. So I'll just go back home. What's this? What the fuck is this? It's a Meguana egg? No, no way, right? But how? You don't have... Not gonna ask. Well then, saddle acquired. Use a new acquisition, I could farm an unreal amount of berries in a very short amount of time, which essentially fixes my narcotic production problem forever. Well, almost, as I'm still lacking the other critical component. In the meantime, I used my new friend to collect all the local metal as I was gonna need it for the flak armor. And after that, I crafted a few cryopods, took my Meguana, and literally just explored the map looking for some chitin. After finding this chunk of chitin, I returned home and turned it into cementing paste, which I then used to make a super spyglass. After that, I noticed that my guy had a pretty interesting trait thingy. I don't know how they work, but they seem pretty good actually. Where was I? Oh yeah, using the spyglass, I set out to find an Enki and collected all the drops I ran into on the way. Well, what's on this side? What? Dude, this map is so cool, man. I'm fucking trembling. Finding an Enki also took me a decade because, as I've said, I have no clue where things spawn. But I guess it was a good thing as I got to explore the map a little bit. What's this? Reclava? Guess we'll never know. While exploring, I ran into a dino-free island with a giant statue. I was kinda considering building here, but thankfully it didn't take me too much convincing to actually decide. Yeah, we're definitely building here. Before moving my base though, I really wanted that Enki, so I kept looking around and fairly quickly ran into one. After knocking him out, I needed something to pass the time, so a better way to do that than to move everything. Yeah. And while on the topic of moving things, how about you move your friends in a Discord call and hop on Ark by using today's sponsor, Players. Players is an AI-powered server hosting service, but hold on just a second. AI? Bro, come on now man, be for real. But wait, it's actually not used in the ways that you might think. You know how it's always tedious to set up your own servers? Like go on the workshop, copy the mod ID, paste it in your server and keep doing this over and over for all mods? Yeah, pretty tedious. Well, that's where Players AI comes into play. It's literally like talking to ChatGPT to make an Ark server for you, and it actually does it pretty dang well. And if that's not your cup of tea, then you'll be pleased to know that Players also has a plethora of other games available to host, such as Rust, Terraria, and Valheim. The server is also very easy to set up, taking literally just a few minutes. It's on all day, all night, and can comfortably support you and many of your friends. And at this point you might be wondering, okay, so this must be expensive then, right? Well, no, as their servers are generally the same price, if not cheaper, than other hosting services. And by using code BERN35, you can enjoy your server for an additional 35% off. So what are you waiting for? Call your friends, hop on Ark, and go tame some dodos. And with that being said, back to Astraeos. With that done, I kept exploring the map and ran into the, weirdly enough, only obelisk on this map. The two bosses I was going to have to defeat were Medusa and the very angry Cyclops. The requirements for them were 1-on-1 the Broodmother and the Megapithecus tributes respectively, but it'll be a very long while before I actually need to worry about them. Close to the obelisk I also found this beauty of an axe. Actually, beauty is an exaggeration, as the only thing it has going for it is the 31 melee, but still, 31 melee pre-tame is pretty good in my opinion. What the fuck is that? What is a dodo? Ah, they give it a new running animation. Okay. Bro, if you go anywhere, take a screenshot and you have a new wallpaper, man. This is unbelievable, dude. As I was peacefully wandering around the map, I eventually made my way to the lava island, or as the game calls it, Rokis. The island is literally a mini extinction biome. It houses lightning dinos, which are the equivalent of crafted dinos, as well as OSDs, element veins, and the King Titan himself. Codename Thanatos, the God of Death. But that smiles off as I was just passing by, being very interested in taming a Pyromane of my own. Now, Pyromane is a very strong dino, hence the $5 price tag, but it's a dino I've never tamed before and it seems very interesting. So I tried taming one, but failed miserably. Thankfully, you can try again by damaging it a little bit more, so I hopped on its back and went out to kill things, or failed miserably. Yeah, that's fine too, okay. After this unfortunate experience, I realized that taming a higher level Pyromane is actually way easier than taming a low level one. While wandering around this treacherous land, I didn't find anything noteworthy except my first lightning creature, as well as a terrible Tech-Rex. So I took a logical decision and returned home as my Enki finally tamed. And we have some work to do. Using the Enki, I harvested a bunch of rocks near my base to be able to build both more forges as well as collect a little bit more metal until I got an RG tamed, which, spoiler alert, is the next thing I wanna tame. So in preparations for that, I made a bunch of narcotics and set out to loot more drops and look for more interesting things to tame. This was like a fucking giga. Yeah, because it is a fucking giga, man. Level 90, female. Oh, I will tame this. After finding this giga, another goal of mine was to get a crossbow. But not just any crossbow, an actual good crossbow, so I don't grow beard while tranking him. I can't wait when the map maker will finish the whole map, like just release that. Holy fuck, dude. Just release everything, like release that thing up there, that thing and that thing. Oh my days, man. After being pretty much around the whole map looking for stuff and other stuff, I returned home, made a fabricator and spent a pretty long time looking for the electrical cable. Okay, put on the cable first. What? Wait, what the fuck is it? I'm ashamed to admit, but it turns out that the generator works without cables. That's a W feature, I guess, but it took me a long time to actually figure this shit out. With that done, I crafted the 4 gates required to tame ARK'S. Yeah, forget the RG, I'll get there later. So, thing with Ascended. Dinos have an alleged way better AI, which means that they tend to avoid traps now. Which is good, don't get me wrong, right? But they can very easily be bypassed by just hanging around in the trap as opposed to just running straight through. And yeah, you know. Well then, goodbye, man. And he also has headshot multiplier. Yo, Damien got so much better, dude. $6.6k. Shoot him with this. How much? Whoa. Okay, that was actually pretty good. Oh, new animation. Oh, okay, this game's good. Okay, can I imprint you now? Okay, your person must aim. Okay, buddy. When it comes to getting primes, the local dodos were more than happy to donate themselves for the greater good. In the meantime, I ran into a way better Meguana that I wanted to tame. Sure, my current one was good, but I would never ever say no to a better one. Trapping him though proved to be just a little bit difficult.
Human reactions.
After the Rex tamed, I grabbed its child. How much? 43! Oh my days. After the Rex tamed, I went over to tame the Meguana as well. And once that was done, I made my way back to base. Unfortunately, after arriving, I couldn't ride the new arrival as I was pretty low level, and with Ark being Ark, you level up by just existing, so I set my sights on finally getting that RG. I didn't want to build a trap for it, by the way, so I just shot him in the head until he fell unconscious. You already know where I got primes for it, but let me show you something more interesting. First of all, I found a pistol in local drop, which was really fucking cool as I had a lot of bullets piled up from all the looting I was doing. And I was back to the RG, a Spino spawned out of nowhere. So, as me being a guy with a pistol and in dire need of some XP, you probably know what I did. Killing him put me slightly above level 73, a good bump, but I still need just a little bit more. Back at base, I finally figured out the 100% imprint thingy, which will make breeding and imprinting things in the future way more fun. Then I went to get some chitin, for the saddle of course, and found this dude. Anyways, I got my chitin from local Rhinognata, that also gave me a pheromone. Thanks dude, I'll certainly not use that. On the way back to base, I stumbled across an incredibly good chainsaw that will more than likely come in handy in the future, as well as found out that wyverns exist on the map. Heck yeah dude, I actually wanna get one of those in the future. Back at base, I immediately put the saddle on the Yankee, and in combination with the solo farm mod, I wasted no time and began farming everything. Afterwards, I found Astral Raptor, and since I needed just a little bit more XP, I filled him with bullets. Back home, I immediately made the Rex saddle and took him out on a walk to kill all the Astrals that I ran into. After that adventure, I returned home, but as you may or may not see, something is missing. And leaving the Rex aside, the feeding through also disappeared. With that out of the way, I set out yet again on my Waywing to explore. With that out of the way, I set out yet again on my Waywing to explore the map some more and loot more drops in the process, crossing my fingers for a good crossbow or long neck. After getting utterly disappointed by the ARK'S, I returned home and shifted my focus into getting the grinder up and running so I could save time farming and actually play the game. With a decent chunk of metal smelting in the forges, I wanted to finally get a pyromane of my own, so I set out to the lava island. Immediately after arriving, I found level 91 that I tried to tame. Emphasis on tame because it did die. Afterwards, I kept roaming the island and ran into yet another pyromane. This time I tried using my pistol to get it low health, which actually worked wonders. However, it was also this time that I found out that using your pyromane underwater doesn't apply the fire debuff thingy, which basically means you get no taming percent. So, good to know, I mean, but that's unfortunate. Then I also found out that element veins can spawn on this map, which is fucking sweet, and I'll actually want to do one of these later. A short while after, I found an absolute beast of a pyromane, so I wasted no time and got to taming it. Also, thanks to its stupidly high level, I could kill many things very quickly, which led to it being a very easy and straightforward taming. Yeah, this dino looks fantastic. As I've said before, the pyromane is obviously a really cool dino with many different perks as well as the ability to have it sit on your shoulder. The only downside to it is that it's, you know, it costs $5. After defeating this Astral Raptor, the game blessed me with an Ascendant long neck blueprint, which was more than enough to trank the whole map, but it was kinda expensive. As I was wandering around on the back of my pyromane, I spotted this in the distance, because OSDs and element veins were definitely not extinction enough.
Oh my god, that is him.
But as I said in the beginning of the video, this guy will have to die by the end of this challenge. For now though, I realized that the pyromane is very afraid of water and swims very poorly in it. With Thanatos out of the way, I took my pyromane to see the world beyond the lava island, making sure to kill Astrals and also almost kill it. Now, remember the long neck I got earlier? Yeah, it's kinda unusable, not because of the cost, which we went through earlier, but because shocking darts were a little bit out of reach, for now at least. So I kept looking for a crossbow and also kept looking for more stuff around the map, like a wyvern for example.
50. Oh man.
Eventually I ran across a Cyclops. This absolute beast of a creature is unique to this map and packs a serious punch. But as of right now I decided to leave him alone since he was low leveled and continued farming things. This is also when I found that the Pyromane can transform and sit on your shoulder. In fact, you can spawn it whenever you want, wherever you want, from your shoulder. For $5, this thing is busted.
Yes! Oh.
To commemorate the finding of that shotgun, I decided to change my white robes for the gladiator armor. Plus, I kinda got bored of them, so, you know. Also, at this point, I finally accepted the fact that the crossbow was out of the question. So I put all my resources and time into getting the grinder up and running ASAP, so I could afford a long neck. Well, on the bright side, I can swap all my riot for flak, which is definitely needed now that my Pyromane is gone and with it all my insulation. As I was mindlessly wandering around the map, I stumbled across my old base. So like any normal person, I raided myself. Make sure to take the forges as I'm actually very lazy to craft more. As morning rose, I found this absolutely busted drop. So busted in fact that had me questioning whether the raids I was having were default or not. Spoiler alert, they weren't, but I do fix them later in the video, so yeah.
What the fuck is going on with these? Okay, is this default or not? Because I haven't messed with the settings at all, and I'm very curious if it's default or not, dude.
Now, since I got an absolutely busted saddle, I put it on my racks, expanded a little bit so I could smelt the metal faster, and in the meantime, went to do an OSD. OSD? I don't know, but I just wanted to do one.
Also love how the shotgun is not like humongously huge anymore. Yeah, that's a good touch.
I'm pretty sure you've seen countless people do OSDs in ARK, so I won't really go into too much detail. Do know though that the saddle was inhumanly broken. So broken in fact that it made the whole drop soloable with a Rex. After eventually finishing it, I grabbed everything, died, respawned the magic kebab, went back home and immediately removed the saddle from my Rex as it was way too overpowered, man. And don't think that I spared the shotgun. No. It went together with the saddle. This spawned into oblivion. On the bright side, I did have another shotgun with 350 damage, but 350 is far from 450, if you ask me. With that taken care of, my efforts were finally repaid as I could build the grinder, so I made sure to place it, power it, and grind everything I gathered up until this point. Well, of course, it couldn't be that easy. Upon forcefully depositing the items into the Schmitty, they despawned. Yeah, this seems to be a recurring theme in this video. This fucking piece of shit Schmitty has 300 slots but despawns everything put into it beyond 110 slots. What? Thinking it was just a bug, I left and inspected the drop thingy, only to find out that it was set to ×2. So, like a responsible person, I tweaked it down to ×1, which should make the drops more balanced and less overpowered loot spawning overall. Then upon loading back in, I found that it wasn't a glitch, just like the feeding through.
Are you fucking kidding me? Dude, everything I put in this shit just disappears?
So, I made the default Schmitty, which unfortunately has 75 slots, but from those 75 slots, I can guarantee you that not one single item will be lost.
Except for this polymer, I'm fucking broke.
After tragically losing all my hoarded wealth, I did the logical thing and set out again to find more stuff. Because believe it or not, all the metal disappeared, so I can still make the fucking long neck or what the fuck it is, dude. Holy shit, man. In order to prepare for future encounters in this challenge, I thought it would be smart to invest in shotgun bullets, as you never know when you'll actually need them, and I could also help my Danios take down the bosses in the future.
Nah. Dude, what the fuck, man?
With that fail out the way, I noticed an absurdly high number of good dinos to tame with no taming weapon in hand. So I decided to finally tell the crossbow to fuck off and craft that long neck alongside some shocking throwing darts and get to work. The way I crafted it was obviously by using a crafting skill potion, as I can be bothered to wait 24 hours for the mind wipe. The charcoal I had was also good for making gunpowder that I would use for both trank arrows as well as shotgun bullets. But as you may or may not have noticed, I need biotoxin for the shocking trank darts. Now I did have some before it disappeared into the feeding trough, but it doesn't mean that I can get more. Forty tranks should be more than enough to get a few dinos going, especially some Rexes for breeding, which is exactly what I set out to tame. Yeah, okay, 1500 torpor per headshot is very absurd. Another broken thing of the Pyromane is the fact that you can sit on it and use weapons, which means that you can essentially have 100 times your health and still shoot. This works wonders for almost all dinos except Gigas, obviously.
Now I know what it reminds me of. The Pyromane reminds me of the... there's a pal in Palworld, and it's just like this one. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Gotcha.
Now, let me ask you a question, dear viewer. What game am I playing? Ark. Correct. And what does Ark do? It screws you over. How exactly? Well, just watch this, man.
Oh my days. I can't wait for that now, isn't it?
Getting the crossbow this late was definitely quite depressing, but it didn't render it completely useless, as I could use it to fire underwater, and that's pretty much it, as it was outclassed by the long neck.
Bro, why does my feeding trough keep disappearing, man? I put it down and now it's gone again. What the fuck is going on? Bam. Oh, we can make. Oh, okay.
After the Rex mated though, the feeding trough seemingly reappeared out of thin air. Okay, I'm literally so confused. But whatever. Another cool thing about Ascended is the fact that you can stack eggs on top of each other, and they don't just bounce all over the place anymore, which is really cool actually. Then I crafted another potion and used it to make a crossbow that will surely come in handy at some point. At some point meaning, right this instant, as I used it to kill a few Cnidarias that I slowly but surely dragged to the beach, where I used my chainsaw to collect about, 5 times the biotoxin from a single Cnidaria. With a bunch of tranks in my pocket, Rex is breeding, everything seemed to be going fine for now, so what better way to celebrate than to try and get an imprinted Pyromane. Well, it would have been cool if I could actually kill something on this stupid island. Also, from my experience, this map struggles like crazy with dino spawns, so taming a Pyromane is even harder. After failing the taming process, I had no choice but to kill it and look for another one, is what I would say if dinos actually spawned. Instead, I went over to look for a Giga, but to no avail. So I just kept breeding more Rexes. While the army was slowly expanding back at base, I desperately wanted the damage boost, and I was going to get it one way or another. If not for a Giga, then surely for a Wyvern. With the Wyvern growing and having found no Gigas, my best and only shot at getting a strong dino at this stage was to tame a Cyclops. And luckily, I knew where to find one, but since I've never ever tamed one, I had no idea how to do it. So what I do, you might think, I may or may not have tried taming it in the stupidest way you can tame in Ark. Underwater.
Yes, he can swim and he cannot. What the fuck was that attack? Okay, dude.
Okay, not really, as my plan was to just shoot him from afar and then have him run on shore before finding unconscious, but okay, just watch actually, whatever.
Okay, we're fine, we're fine. What is that?
Near my base, there was a literally 150 Fasole Sucus. The Scorcher of Dino. Now, since I've never tamed nor seen one of these bad boys, I was kinda tempted to tame one. Unfortunately, he didn't even survive the pack of vultures harassing him, so kinda glad I didn't waste my C4 on him. My attempts at exploring the map led me to the treacherous land of Quintos, this place, where I decided that if I was passing through, I could just tame a Utyranus and save myself the trouble later. Taming him was obviously far from hard, but I just had to deal with him fearing me, otherwise very easy. Then I saved myself a bunch of hassle by stealing some baby Deodons and kept exploring the frigid tundra of Quintos. Later in the day, I found level 100 Pyromane on the beach of the live island, but this time I had a plan. You see, the babies I acquired earlier could more than definitely prove me with a free tame. So I grabbed them, began taming, and got very disappointed. Another 5 minutes down the drain, I guess. Second time was the charm as I tamed him, and now, after I don't even know how many hours, I could breed myself a Pyromane. Hell yeah. In the meantime, the wyvern also got to full size, so I had an even faster way of killing Astraeos. The goal being to get the Rex saddle blueprint so I could take on the bosses. After many hours of searching and finding absolutely nothing, I decided to spend actual time investigating the Giga problem. And upon an in-depth analysis of the situation, I found that this mod removes Gigas from the game and replaces them with this fucking Cyclops. I'd agree to have Cyclops exist alongside Gigas and Karches, but straight up removing two of the coolest and best dinos in the game for a dirty goblin with a stick is just not a fair deal to me. So, logically, I removed the mod and full with excitement returned home to craft 4 gates. Because with this mod off, it barely took me any time at all to find the Giga.
There he is. My gangster. I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm such a fucking idiot, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm such a fucking idiot, bro. Okay, yeah, no, I just got out of the video, okay?
To tame the Giga, you gotta do the same thing you do for the Rex. Keep going around and play with him until he has no choice but to go in the trap.
And he should be out right now. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Oh man, guess who dies first by this Giga? Whoa.
With the Giga under my command, I was ready to take on anything and everything this map had to offer. So to celebrate, I installed the mod that allowed me to color any dino I want in any color I wanted. You can also change the colors after you apply them, and it's free and you can do it as many times as you want. And it also carries between breeds. And the first test I put my Giga through was a purple drop. The hardest difficulty. Now some may argue that this is actually way too overkill for a single Giga, and it is, especially the wyverns, but things did end up going well as I had a lot of fun killing things with the Giga for the first time in a year, and also just got a lot of levels, and after dumping them all into melee, I made a great escape back home.
Oh shit, okay buddy, okay.
With things going so well, there was realistically only one thing left to do, and I was collecting all the artifacts required for the 2 bosses. The Pyromane was also going to come in crazy clutch for them as it fits into literally any and every cave without a problem. The first cave I entered was a maze. Can't really tell you how to do it, but just keep going until you enter the definitely not an artifact room filled with enemies room. Then make sure to clear it and claim your prize. Cave number 2 was your average behind the waterfall hidden cave thingy. It's short, it's filled with enemies, and also has a unique dino to this map. the Minotaur, which is the Ferox equivalent, and it's also tameable, but as you may or may not know, the Ferox isn't actually very strong against the Giga. So yeah. On the way to the third artifact, I literally stubbed my toe on this dude. So, like a responsible longneck haver, I immediately trapped him up and got to tranking. Once he tamed, I now had to take a break from caves and breed the two up, as well as anything and everything that was available to breed back at base. But don't worry, because as soon as I was done, I set out to the third artifact, which is the Lava Island artifact. So I killed the gatekeeper and hopped on my May Wing to skip the whole cave. Well, this works as plan B. Yeah, I'll consider it. Cave 4 is the coolest cave on this map. The entrance is cool as well as its content. It doesn't have any unique dinos, but it does have buttons. After making it to this room, you have to press 3 buttons. The annoying part is that you can't climb ladders, or at least game-placed ladders, which forces you to have a grappling hook or the broken pyromine. After pressing all 3 buttons, a trapdoor will open, which will allow you to enter a submerged zone that you will have to traverse. At the end of it, you can find the artifact, and after grabbing it, you gotta run like the wind to get out of there, as many creatures will wanna eat you. Cave 5 is underwater, so I returned home for a brief moment to grab the scuba tank and immediately went back to business.
Okay, dudes, they really made the most of fucking scary with that sound, okay?
It is very easy, but upon reaching this room you have to press 3 buttons in order, the order being this one. But the buttons aren't there. Why? Because this game is fucking stupid. You have to leave and join back for them to appear, and I did spend a few solid minutes just wondering how to press the statues.
God, bro. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, okay, nice game. $60 game, $15 DLC, but
Back home, the Giga was finally ready to hatch, so I welcomed him into this world, got very happy since he had the good melee, and left him alone to grow while I went to explore and find some more drops, because I desperately wanted that Rex saddle. But then again, maybe I should just use pyromines.
oh, that's kinda cool, okay. If it's legendary again, I delete the game. Calling you right now. If it's legendary, I delete the game. Awesome.
These drops weren't cutting it anymore, and they were also stupidly boring to loot. I wanted to do something more interesting and fun. That being OSDs. Well, maybe not just yet, as I abandoned it halfway because I wanted to get more mains and be more prepared in general, even though I could have easily demolished it. Back at base I imprinted the Giga and colored all the mains different colors. If you haven't guessed, I was pretty bored. And so for the next few hours all I did was expand the base, imprint dinos, grow more dinos, tame more mains and look for more Gigas.
The horse is aggressive. Was aggressive.
Having taken care of that, I got a lot more mains in my back pocket, so it was time to look for a drop, and actually do it this time. While looking for one, I stumbled across the Dreadnought, a very fearsome dino with a very respectable health bar. Also, one that I've never tamed before, so I'll definitely want to tame one before the end of this video. The first and only drop I found was a blue one, so to pass the time and for fun, I actually did it.
It's raining like crazy outside, but who gives a shit, right?
After clearing the drop, I got literally the loot you'd expect. But I did get 27 stone foundations, which I'll gladly take to expand my base. After wrapping that up, I wanted to give getting a Rex saddle a few more tries, but the game had other plans as it bestowed upon me the opportunity to get some free element. Get it? Free element? The vein was an easy one, so I did it with my shotgun and got very disappointed. You see, you can't use an Anki anymore to harvest the vein. I mean, thankfully I did have my pickaxe with me.
Okay, how much do we get? 134 plus 5, 10... Oh, so we got 150 exactly, okay. What? What?
This time I did red drops with a few pyromanes set on aggressive for the fire effect as well as the giga I was going to ride to take out dinos fast. It works pretty good and actually might allow me to do legendary OSDs if I got a few more gigas. After looting the goodies, the best thing I got was obviously more foundations. So I put those down and tried yet again to get the Rex saddle, dude. With yet another red drop clear but no avail, I decided to stop looking for Rex saddles as that's just not going to happen, and instead try beating the bosses with the pyromane army I had built. As I was wandering around the lava island, I ran into an element vein and the dreadnought right next to it. Fortunately, my element was back home, and by the time I came back, the element vein wasn't there anymore. To my luck though, there was an easy one spawned as well, so I looked around for more dreadnoughts and tried leading one to the vein in the most stupid way possible. By hitting it. Well, the devs thought of this and made it only aggro if you deal too much damage to it or if you feed it element. So I played by the rules and slowly but surely led it to the vein. Also, did I mention that it hits like an absolute truck? No? Well, it does. 2 trucks actually.
Holy.
After leading the dino close enough to an element vein, it will carve a path towards it, aggro onto it, at which point all you have to do is protect it until the vein completes. Using the pyromane and 160,000 health dino is also not very smart as it deals percent damage, so I resorted to using the shotgun yet again. How they always end up in this situation, I have no clue. Periodically, the dreadnought will also have some sort of digestion shield that I have no clue how it works, but is a shield, so it can be bad. After protecting the dreadnought from the very dangerous and malicious creatures, it tamed. And you do get to keep the element vein to complete it for yourself, but from 0% progression. And thankfully, I don't need any more elements. Back at base, I made a saddle for this absolute titan of a creature. And with everything that I wanted to do being mostly complete, still no Rex saddle, but that, I grabbed Captain Lexus, which is just my old mid-boost kicker, recolored and renamed, to gather all the tributes, which I'll put on screen.
Okay, this should be it. We have yes, okay, so everything. Now I just gotta prepare a boss squad and we can actually go beat the boss.
Well, you heard me. The last thing I must do before killing my first boss was build a team capable of achieving such a feat. The UT got all points put into health, while all mains were imprinted and had about 10k HP, with the rest going full melee. These fights will definitely be very tough without single player settings. If I manage, I'm a fucking badass. Once the assembly was ready, I took the tributes for, weirdly enough, the Cyclops, as during my testing, yes I did test, I'm now going on alpha without prior knowledge, he seemed way easier than Medusa. He does have a titanic health bar, literally more than the King Titan, but he seems overall easier. Upon arriving in his domain, I stood on the back of my UT and let the mains do all the heavy lifting. And it didn't take too long for me to notice my incredible advantage. The fact that the boss did not see the pyro mains as enemies, so it wouldn't attack them and would just stay aggroed on me and on the UT. And also, to allow your dinos to deal damage to him, you must shoot him in the head with the shotgun. If you don't, he essentially takes 0 damage. The fight would have been 100% lost, even with Rexes with 200% saddles, I think. But I'm glad I had a way to beat him, it just took a very long time. After beating the boss, I collected my reward. Also, can I just add the fact that these two literally dropped twice the amount of element that the hardest bosses in Ark drop? I can? Oh awesome, because this is fucking crazy, okay? Once making it back to the overworld, I set out to tame a Ferezino to farm a lot of wood to remake my stock of shotgun bullets for the last 2 bosses. While waiting, I made sure to make an industrial forge so I had an actual way to smelt all the wood in a reasonable amount of time. Then I found said wood and put that forge to work. Believe it or not, after seeing how difficult the Cyclops was, I was very afraid for the Medusa. So I went over to ARK'S to look for more drops to do. And while there, Thanatos literally popped out of nowhere.
He's here.
This is far from the epic introduction I wanted to give him at the end of the challenge, but if he's here, and I am here with the whole squadron, I guess I'm taking him out. Using the 2 Gigas and the Dreadnought, he stood absolutely no chance. The only annoying part of this boss is that he can keep you infinitely staggered, as any attack he does stuns you for just enough time for him to attack again, which is stupid, but yeah, other than that he's pretty easy.
GG. Goodbye. What do we get? Wow, the loot is so bad.
Since I was here, I did one final drop. You've seen me do plenty before, so just know that I was hoping for the best. And after completing it and getting nothing, I knew what I had to do. In order to prepare my dinos for this final fight, I killed a bunch of babies for XP. 7 levels per main may not seem like a lot, but 7 times 20 is 114, quick maths, and 140 points put into melee does make a pretty big difference. Last thing I grabbed with me were all the cactus broths I got from drops, all the medical brews, and the 2 bug repellents. And with that being said, it's time to finish this. Win or lose, this is it. Countless hours playing this map, evolving from a bow and arrow to taking down demigods, you've been here to witness it all. So, without further ado, enjoy this final fight. The plan to take out Medusa was very simple, but very dangerous. Since the pyramids fear the water like the plague, I got Medusa's attention and led her far away from the water, on the platform where you spawn. After she arrived, I ordered all the soldiers to charge at her at full speed while I stood on the duty, ready to take out any bats she would spawn as well as shoot her. Now thankfully, due to some weird glitch, she did get stuck. Even worse than the Cyclops actually. All she did during this time I spent fighting her was shoot trank thingies that deal practically zero damage.
GG bro, we fucking beat it, man. We fucking did it, man.
And after a very lengthy fight, she finally fell and I completed this challenge. I have beaten Astraeos on Alpha solo without single player settings.
What are with the trophies? Well, that's something I don't know. But I suppose nothing for now, which means that I will have to return here and beat this map at a later date when it actually fully releases, along with this, and this island, and more of this, and maybe this island as well. So yeah.